Storytime about the client who asked me to do her entire service for free. This client just so happens to be the first client that I've ever found on TikTok. Not long after I started making makeup artist story times, I had a few people reach out to me and ask if I would do their makeup. More specifically, if they could schedule an appointment to have their makeup done. We're gonna call this one in particular client Karen, and you'll see why in a second. Karen DM'd my Instagram account saying that she was a TikTok follower and that she had been trying to get a hold of me to schedule an appointment for her daughter. Her daughter was a senior in high school about to attend her senior prom. She told me that her daughter told her that she had been following me on TikTok since the beginning of my Makeup Artist Storytime series. She explained that she was a huge fan and that it would be great if there was any way that I would be able to do her daughter's senior prom makeup. I started by first asking her if she had a specific date or time in mind. Karen gave me all the details of her daughter's prom, and then I realized that she lives halfway across the country. That's when I told Karen that I was extremely appreciative for the opportunity, but there is no way that
This is why things are never as they seem. Once there was a man who didn't want to get married because he didn't want to spend money on anyone else. He thought that if he got married, he would have to pay for his wife's food, clothes, and other items, which he didn't want to do. However, one day he came across a beautiful young woman who oddly never ate a single thing. He thought this was perfect. He wouldn't have to pay for her food and she could be his wife. He quickly asked her to marry him. But of course, things are not as they seem. He noticed that his supply of food was disappearing even though he never saw his wife eat. So one day he decided to spy on her. And what he saw was terrifying. He saw his wife's hair part in the back, revealing a huge mouth on the back of her head. Her skull split open and the mouth was unnaturally wide with huge teeth. Then he watched as his wife's hair twisted into a long strand, grasped handfuls of food and shoved it into the mouth on the back of her head. When she noticed her husband, she attacked him. He managed to get away and hide in the mountains. Weeks later, when he got the courage to return, he found his wife gone and all of his food taken. The man never married again.
Did I mess up by buying my 2-year-old daughter a Peppa the Pig piñata for her birthday? This well-meaning gesture turned into tragedy happened today. Like many toddlers, my kid loves that horrible little creature called Peppa. While I was shopping for birthday supplies this week, I saw a Peppa piñata and instantly thought two things. The kid is going to love this, and I'm going to love seeing Peppa get deleted with a stick. She saw it a couple of times during the week, and each time she was like, "Peppa, hi Peppa, that's Peppa." So I knew without a shadow of doubt I had made the right choice. Cue the main event. In one corner we have Peppa, and in the other corner we have 15 older kids jacked up on cupcakes and soda. They don't care about Peppa, they only care about getting their necks fixed, and they know that fix is inside the paper piglet. My wife is holding up my daughter and I'm standing beside them. The first kid steps up and the adults are cheering and the kids are hyped. 3 swings and 3 misses. The families are laughing and cheering as the next kid steps up. First swing, miss. No issues yet. Second swing, some light contact is made, and this is where it goes downhill. I look over and see visible concern on my daughter's face. Third swing, contact. The parents cheer, and the kids are now at a near fever pitch of excitement, except for one. The one whose birthday we're here to celebrate. She bursts into tears, and I look at my wife in that moment, and we both realize we fucked up. She's 2. She doesn't know what the heck a piñata is. This is her first time seeing one. What she is seeing is her favorite cartoon character getting beat down by her cousins. Babe, maybe you should take her inside. I don't think this is going to end the way we thought it was going to. Yeah, you're right. That should be the end of the story, right? A lesson learned on what not to do next time. Nope. My wife needed to use the bathroom, so my daughter was wandering around the living room. My mom, who was in the upstairs bathroom, comes downstairs and saw my daughter and the excitement going on outside and scooped her up and brought her back outside. I'm on the other side of the yard as I see my mom come out with my daughter and I start walking towards them. Too late. She stops at the end of the deck, giving my daughter an unobstructed view of what happened next. The kill shot. One of the older kids let loose a thunderous haymaker and explodes Peppa. The parents cheer and the kids lose their mind. They're fighting each other for candy over the corpse of Peppa.
Am I the asshole for wanting my mom to be in the delivery room when my wife has our baby? My wife, Alice, 28 female, is 7 months pregnant. She's starting to think about who she'd like to have in the delivery room when the time comes. She said she would really like her dad there for support. Alice is really close with her dad since she was a kid and has only grown closer to him since her mom died, so that was no surprise. I'm completely fine with having Doug there. She said she doesn't want her stepmom there, which is fine. Her stepmom is really sweet, has been so helpful through the entirety of the pregnancy, and I know she will be hurt when she finds out she can't be there, but I can understand. The issue I have is that Alice doesn't want my mom there. My mom has never been my wife's biggest fan, but she is so excited to have a grandchild and has been planning on being in the delivery room the entire pregnancy and likely before. Like I said, my mom has been hard on Alice and can be a little judgmental, but she's still the grandmother of our child and wants to be there. She's also my mother, and I find it unfair that she can have her dad there, but she's still the grandmother of our child and wants to be there. She's also my mother, and I find it unfair that she can have her dad there, but I can't have my mom there. It's a high-risk pregnancy, and Alice has been really adamant about trying to give birth naturally, but she claims that if things take a turn and she wants an epidural or there needs to be an emergency C-section for whatever reason, she is worried about the judgment from my mom because my mom has openly expressed her distaste for both. Additionally, she says my mom is not the nicest to her. I know my mom has been a little harsh about her weight gain, even though about 30 pounds. She was 120 before. Allegedly, when my wife went over to my parents' house recently, she dropped a plate on the floor, and my mom yelled at her while she made her get down on the floor and clean it up.
Oh my gosh.
I understand where Alice is coming from, and while she'll be the one giving birth, he is my child as much as hers, and I feel like I should be allowed to have my mom there. My wife and I got into a scuffle about this before she started crying.
Story of the client I should have said no to as soon as I saw her book an appointment. Disclaimer, this is not my story time, it was sent to me on Instagram. Before I started doing makeup, I had gotten a job waitressing at a local restaurant. And for those of you who have ever worked in the food service industry, you know just how competitive being a waitress can be. I was a really hard worker, and just a few months after me working there, I had been promoted to shift manager. This really made some of the other waitresses mad, especially this one girl who I remembered from high school that I knew of, but I didn't really know her, you know what I mean? And that's where the story time really begins. It's important to note that I was in a relationship at the time I started working at the restaurant. Let's just call my boyfriend Devin. And when I applied to work there, he had told me that one of his exes used to work there and he wasn't really sure if she still did or not. Knowing this before going into the job, I didn't really make it a point to be friends with any of the other waitresses that worked there. Flash forward, I've graduated cosmetology school. Devin and I are still happily together, and we just moved into our first 2-bedroom apartment where I had turned the second bedroom into a full makeup room and had started doing clients' makeup out of our home. I was getting about 2 to 3 clients a day on the weekdays and about 5 or 6 on the weekends. This included Fridays. One day as I'm going through my appointment books for the next week, I noticed that one of the girls I had worked with at the restaurant prior to becoming a makeup artist had scheduled an appointment for the coming Friday. I thought that was pretty interesting because, like I'd said, I never really made it a point to be friends with anyone I had worked with there, and it never really seemed like any of them liked me very much either. On the day of her appointment, she arrives at my apartment 30 minutes early. I was still working on the client before her, so I just had her wait on the couch in my living room. As soon as I finished up with the client before her, I went into the living room and I greeted her promptly. Instead of saying, "Hi, how are you? How have you been?" the first thing she asked me was, "How long is this going to take? Because I'm in a hurry." Let me just tell you that all of my clients receive a text notification before coming into their appointment. It includes a short waiver that they all must sign before arriving to their appointment, and it also lets them know that a full service of makeup will take about an hour to an hour and a half, so please schedule your appointment accordingly. I reminded her of this, but instead of acknowledging
When my grandma passed away, she left each of her grandkids money to put them through college debt-free. But this fund stayed in our parents' names until we turned 18. My sister got pregnant her sophomore year of high school. She was panicking about college. The baby daddy left, and she hasn't tried to find him to get child support. All of that stress caused a hard, complicated pregnancy, but both are okay. She graduated this last December with about $2,000 in debt. I figured she used all the money grandma left for her pregnancy and had to take out a loan. I got accepted to my dream college, but my mom was insistent that I stay local to save money. I told her grandma left me more than enough, but that's when she told me. They used all the money that was supposed to go to me to take care of my sister and her kid and her expensive pregnancy. I broke down and just lost it crying. I was shouting how they screwed me over for the kid that fucked up. My sister got upset and asked me if I'd rather have had her live on the street unable to raise her child so I can go to college and have a good life. I said yes, it's not fair that she fucked up, got drunk, and slept with so many guys she doesn't know who the baby daddy is. But I'm the one who has to be punished for it. The argument got too heated, so I left. Did I go too far? I feel screwed over because I'm being punished despite being the one that followed the rules.